What's up? Okay. It's Havlin. Wearing pages with Havlin Rose. What it do, baby boo? Today I wanted to talk about something that's been on my mind a lot. So like I'm broke as fuck, right? As most people are in this country, honestly. Most people are in this flippin' world. But there's like a terrible wealth gap in this country, as I'm sure you guys have been picking up on. Anyway, but I just personally do not have a 9 to 5 right now, and I be on my gig economy shit, which is like terrible. And like I'm trying to get my art shit popping off, which is also a grave mistake on my part is being an artist. Anyway, but I just feel like I've been really sad about the fact that I don't have $1 million and that I'm not rich. And I've been really getting down the dumps about that because it's like, what the hell? Like, why am I not loaded, right? And I'm specifically, my morals are anti-capitalist to their roots, But it's like, I also want to have money, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if that's like a terrible thing to say, but like, if I want to buy some clothes, I want to be able to buy them. If I want to buy some makeup, I want to be able to buy it, right? So that's not crazy. And the economy just sucks right now. Like, what the flip? I don't know what that's about. Anyway, but I've been thinking, right, about how I talked about how, like, shaking my ass through the world ending a couple weeks ago. And I've been thinking about that a lot, how I posted that, because, like, thinking about how, like, I don't think the world's ending, right? I don't think that's what's happening. The world has ended so many times and we keep pushing, right? We've always had an existential thought or an existential issue of every lifetime, right? There's always something that's making us stressed, right? There's more than enough to go off of right now to list. Um, so I've been also feeling this way about like I have to spend my time doing something, right? In between all of this, because it feels like when you go to your job or if you go to get groceries, you're like, hello, this is kind of weird how we're like literally like everything is falling apart and every like thread of the fabric of our country is coming loose. In America, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of things that are just gravely upsetting and wrong, right? And I'm just like, well, I gotta suit up and go to work. I gotta go do this job or send my application for this and do this, what, and the third. And I'd be like, what the hell? Like, I have to create a career out of all of this BS. I'm like, do I have to go back to school? And you know it's bad when you start saying shit like that. But I'm like, do I have to go back to school? I have to do all these things. I have to get my career going. And I'm like, oh, wait, like, what's happening with the bees, though? Why are all the bees dying? Why are groceries? Why is getting fucking milk like a, a financial decision for real? Why am I like, okay, if I get this milk right now, I have to cut something out. What? I'm like, I have to consult my accountant if I want to get some fucking mascara. Like, what? I'd be in Walmart and I'd be like, oh, this must be a joke. Am I even supposed to be in Walmart right now? What is going on? Anyway, but I've been thinking about like not only jobs in a literal sense, but also job as like a position, kind of a juncture in this time, How do I like have my own job when the world looks like this? Where it's like there's obviously a career that you have to think about and the source of money you have to think about, but also how do you want to approach these specific times? If you're someone who considers himself an activist or someone who wants to be a part of the liberation and resistance and stuff, like you want to resist some of these terrible, terrible things that are happening to us and leading us to quite specifically terrible world that we might, whatever, whatever. Okay, so it's like we have that idea of like what is possibly my role in trying to fight all of this back, right? And like some people, I hear that a lot actually when I start listening and reading more about like liberation movements, and the freaking fly in my room is trying to get this two-piece wop wop right now. Like I'm actually about to start throwing hands. Anyway, so I'm starting to think about me personally, me personally, like I could be someone who like is a climate change activist, or a gun, or an anti-gun rights, or what's it called, like an anti-gun activist. I can be someone who teaches in schools. I can be someone who's a doctor. I can be someone who like changes the world. I can be someone who like fights back in all these specific niches and stuff. But also like I just want to chill out. Like, yes, I want to save the bees. Yes, I want no more data centers, and I think AI should just like be evaporated into existence. Um, but also like I really like having days where I just kick my feet up and rub them together. You know what I'm saying? And I just like complaining and just laughing and talking and just like sleeping and like praying and writing and all these things and being artistic and all these things. And sometimes I just like being chill. So my dream job, low key, is just to be a chill person because I have really bad anxiety. Something I've talked about on my Substack before. My anxiety is terrible. I've always struggled with trying to regulate my nervous system because, babes, like it's always been thought up. You know what I'm saying? And I was talking to my sister about it, and I was just talking about how, like, I really need to figure out what position I want to be in my career as a just a member of society. And she was like, you know, you spent a lot of your life, this is not exactly what she said, but I'm paraphrasing. She was like, you spent a lot of your life worrying and being upset and like having these like internal battles, that your role might just be like, I'm gonna live my life and try to figure out, and under the midst of all of these things, like how to be chill and regulated, you know? Like if somebody can figure out what it's like to have a dysregulated emotion or nervous system like me, if I can be the person who could be like, you know, we can still find a way to be chill under circumstances like this, you know what I'm saying? That's the type of role you should maybe do. And I feel like I did not explain that properly, but like what I got from it was like, we all have our own individual role in society. We all have our unique addition to the world, period. You know, I'm the type of person who believes that everyone's here for a reason, and that life is kind of just about exploring the reason or fighting back from the reason or trying to figure out what reason you want to be here for. And I really just feel like that's something I'm thinking about a lot, is like, what is my reason? What is the reason why I'm here? Because, you know, we're going through all this existential shit all the time. Might as well think about, you know, what my purpose in life is. And I genuinely feel like I'd be down in the dumps and I'd be like, I don't know what I'm doing in my life. But genuinely, like, if I'm trying to look at life as something that's really as precious as it is, right? I have to think about what I want to spend my time and what do I want to pour into when I'm here on this earth, you know what I'm saying? In this physical body. Um, I feel like I'm not making any sense, but that's honestly okay. Like, it's chill. And I feel like, oh my God. Sorry about that, the fly. Oh my, please, please, please. I feel like I'm being hunted down and try to be killed anyway. But I genuinely feel like my job right now, or like I can assign whatever job I want personally. My job, I feel like what hit so much about her saying that was like, I can kind of just make up whatever I want to do in my life. And I can kind of just be like, actually, I'm just going to be a chill person. And that could mean whatever I want. It can entail whatever I want. I just don't want to be someone who like is in pain all the time. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be someone who's always upset about something, because there's so many good parts of being alive and so many good parts just about being myself. I'm awesome. I love myself. But yeah, I just genuinely want to figure out like a way to somehow appreciate life, and or I do appreciate life, but I want to figure out ways to like figure out how to regulate my nervous system and maybe tell people about it. I might make a video about that. Okay. But yeah, this was like a very jumbly, rumbly, rambly, shit talking thing to say. But I hope that it kind of makes sense. Is that we all have our own hold on now, give me a second. We all have our own individual, unique print on this world, you know, our footprint, our fingerprint, whatever. And we can all try to figure out, I guess, how we want to contribute to the world in any way possible. So figure out, I guess, what your role is. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Bye.